Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over the changes to the support role in Overwatch 2. And the reality is the support role did not really get that many changes. It's been somewhat criticized because the support role feels very similar in terms of the way the heroes play as it did in Overwatch 1. With one major exception, one hero did get a bit of a significant change to one of the abilities, but it's not the most significant change to any characters in this beta. And so there's a lot of people kind of looking at the support role and saying the support role doesn't feel as fulfilling, or just feels kind of like support got kind of sidelined because you have obviously a new DPS hero, some major reworks to some of the tank heroes, and even some of the DPS heroes had major changes. And then the support role didn't really get changes. I mean, I'll go through them right now and I'll read them to you, and you'll kind of see how limited these changes are. So for Ana, she had an increase to the sleep dart cooldown from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. And that's it. It's the only change that was made to Ana. For Baptiste, his biotic launcher primary fire minimum fall off range was reduced from 25 to 20 meters, so he just doesn't do as much damage at range as he once did. But his regenerative burst total healing was increased from 75 to 100. The only real major change to any of the support heroes was made to Brigitte, actually, who had some major changes to her shield bash. So, it no longer stuns enemies like it did before. Instead, now, it is just about doing burst of damage and increased movement. So, the cooldown is reduced from 7 seconds to 5 seconds, and the distance travel is increased from 7 meters to 12 meters, so she goes further with it now than she did before. And you're not going to stun people. Movement is no longer stopped by impacting barriers, which is something that it was before, so you can kind of go through barriers now with Brigitte, and the damage increased from 1 to 50. So, all about doing damage. Looks like, there's a little bit of movement there, but that may have just been more because I am playing a hero, and I just kind of ran in. It does a little bit of knockback, but nothing too... nothing, too wild. Nothing out there. Can I get over this ledge? Yeah, I can. I actually may have been able to get over that ledge before. I'm not even going to lie to you. That's probably possible already. Maybe not. I don't remember. Shield Bash also now triggers Inspire healing. As you can see, when I use Shield Bash, I get the healing from Inspire, as you can see. And then that's really it when it comes to the major changes to the support heroes. Lucio had the ultimate cost for Sound Barrier reduced, and Mercy increased the support passive role for healing by 50% with her regeneration ability. That is, of course, the role passive did change for the supports. So now all support heroes have, if they take damage, they will regenerate health over time. I believe it's 10 health per second after they don't take any damage for 2 seconds. So we'll stand here, take a little bit of damage from this training bot, and then we'll walk over here, and you'll see over time my health begins to go up if I don't take damage for a bit of time. So that's really the major change to the support role, is this passive ability. And then Mercy, her regeneration passive means that she will have that healing increased by a larger amount. So she'll get more per second than the other support heroes will. So she still has kind of a benefit where she is stronger. Her passive does more than the other damage heroes, or the other support heroes do. You can kind of see that even as I'm taking damage here, like, I'm still getting health back like really quickly. Right? Look at this. Whoop! Damage all comes back very quickly. But that's really the extent of change to the support role. So there's been a lot of people kind of talking about the support role feels like it got very shafted, and also in a lot of ways the support role feels kind of weak because DPS is way more enabled. Supports are kind of on their own in a lot of cases. They don't have a second tank to peel for them. So it's a role that has some very major changes. And what we're seeing is a lot of heroes like Mercy and Moira and Lucio, who have high movement ability, who have high escapability, are getting a lot more playtime. They're seemingly stronger and better and more effective because it allows the players to actually do more things to escape from getting chased, which is essentially something that if you're a Lucy, or if you're like a Zenyatta or an Ana who doesn't have sleep dart, or you know whatever, you just don't really have the ability to do much. And you just feel like you're just kind of stuck and trapped all the time because everybody can just get on top of you. These DPS heroes can move a lot quicker now. And so there are some more challenges to this role, and the role definitely has some adjusting for the player base to get used to now, because the ability and everything feels pretty different for support heroes, and you feel a lot weaker in some of those instances. Now, a general consensus I have seen, which is something I expected to see, was that people who played in the alpha felt like the support role was significantly more difficult than it is in the beta, and that has less to do with any changes made to the game, but more so the fact that more people can play now, and so matchmaking is far fairer than it was with the alpha, where you would have, a casual player paired up against Overwatch League pro players, and they have to try to, survive while getting tormented and murdered by these really good pro players who know how to play the game properly. And some people don't necessarily know how to play the game at a high level. And so generally what I've seen is that the feedback is kind of support. The way you play has changed. You can't just kind of sit back and play super aggressively. You have to use cover. You have to play into cover. You have to take advantage of natural, walls and covers and stuff like that. You have to actually play in a more supportive way than being a super kind of aggressive, DPS-y styles in Yada or Ana. And I've seen a lot of kind of feedback that, for example, with Ana, like biotic grenades being used offensively is essentially almost like a must, because you just need to get that quick kind of, they only have one tank, which means it's easier to get those kind of grenade throws in. You want to get those nice kind of throws in, and also using your sleep dart defensively is way more important. It's more important to save it for a target trying to dive you than it is to try to get like a long distance sleep on an opponent. And so I think the game will take some adjusting with the support role. I think that's one of those things that we will see change over time for people. They'll start to feel like the role works better the more they play it. They'll feel like it's a more kind of they're more used to it, I think, over time, and they'll find that the role actually isn't as kind of bad as it seems initially, despite the kind of lack of changes. Obviously, there's no new hero in the support role, as we do have, tank reworks and Doomfist moving over to tank, and then Sojourn and damage reworks. Really make those roles feel very exciting, very interesting. If you go into the beta and you queue up, I'll just kind of show you. I will literally just show you right now. Support queues are always the shortest queues. They're always like 2 minutes, which in Overwatch 1, it's always that way with like tanks. But here, tank and damage, 10-minute queues. Support, less than 2 minutes. You can get into a support game pretty quickly, because support's just not that exciting of a role right now. There's not a lot of people who want to play the support role, because there's not really any reason to, because there's nothing new. And so I think it is going to be interesting to see how the support role is changed in the next beta. I think that if you are the Overwatch dev team, I think it's very important that your goal with the next beta is, if you're going to introduce one new hero in the next beta, it needs to be a support hero. You've already put in a new tank with Doomfist, and you've already redone Orisa, but you haven't given anything to the support role to make the support role engaging for players. Players aren't going to really want to play the support role in this game when they can play the new stuff, right? So I think that's what kind of the key right now is, to see where the next stage of the kind of support role is in the beta. I personally am firmly on the idea that this beta is way more about showing how the game works. I don't really care about the visual issues or any visual changes and skins and cosmetics. Like, I love that type of stuff normally, but I don't need that stuff right now. What I want to see right now are the changes to the roles and how the heroes are going to interact and work with each other, and get a fluid product that feels fun to play and feels fun to watch, which to me is arguably more important because of the Overwatch League. And so I think it's important that the Overwatch team recognizes that the support role is the role right now that has the least kind of intrigue behind it because of how little it has changed. And so even if the second beta doesn't have a new hero, if there are more changes to the support role, if they kind of look at support and kind of see if there are changes to be made to support, that would be a good idea. But I also think definitely the next new hero that they put in the beta should be a support hero, because I don't really think that what we have seen so far in this beta has really given people that excitement over the support role that they would like to have. So those are kind of my general takeaways when it comes to the way the support role plays. Support's my main role. It's the role I play for the most part. It's the role that I have the most hours. Actually, I don't think I have the most hours on it technically. I think the most hours on damage. But it's the one that I have the most success on and the most wins on. It's my best role. So I think that'll be interesting to kind of see how the support role changes, what they do to it to kind of make it more interesting, more exciting. Because right now, it's a little boring. It's not as exciting as some other roles. And it definitely is the role that, interestingly enough, they didn't change it very much, but it feels like the role that is going to take the most time to actually learn how to use it properly because of the way the game has changed. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens when Overwatch kicks off and see how the support role differs, the types of things we see. Everyone expected double flex support to kind of be the meta in Overwatch 2, and it seems like Lucio and Moira and Mercy are way too good for that to really be the case. So I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I'm very curious to see what happens when Overwatch 2 kicks off with the Overwatch League and kind of see how the beta progression changes and improves upon what we have right now, and see what happens to the support role. That's really all I have for this one. I know not super exciting with the changes, but that's just the state of the beta right now. But let me know your thoughts on the support role in the comments down below. And if you want more videos like this in the future, consider liking and subscribing for more content. That's going to be all from me, though, for today. Hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy. And until next time.